N'Keal Harry was an absolute steal at 32. What are you guys talking about? Forget Tom Brady's passing numbers. He's the GOAT because he was the best punter in the NFL. I take Johnny Hekker over Patrick Mahomes to be my quarterback any day.
Welcome to the No Punt Intended Sportscast with your host, Parody07.
Welcome back to the No Punt Intended Sportscast. I'm your host, Guy, and I'm here with, as always, the freaking dogs. Gentlemen, welcome to the 30th edition of the No Punt Intended Sportscast. And we are, as of today, 12 days off our 1-year anniversary. So congratulations to making it this far and dealing with me for as long as you have. And speaking of dealing with me, I have a little solo I would like to start the podcast with. I'm not much of a singer, but I have something for the boys here, one in particular. What you gonna do when they come for you? Rashee Rice is making headlines in the offseason more than he made in the Super Bowl, believe it or not. And it's because he decided to go for yards after the catch, a little bit of yak, meaning he wanted to a hit and run. I mean, he doesn't play defense, but he kind of looks like he's going to have to hire some defense, if you know what I'm saying. The boy went ahead and decided to act a fool on the highway, ran into some people, and then ran off. I mean, the yak is all over the place, and now he's got 8 counts against him, and I count 8. So the Kansas City Chiefs are drafting all receivers for the next 2 years because of this. Because they can't keep one around for long enough to make any difference. Although some would say, well, they have Marquise Brown, so they've got everything. They got Hollywood in town.
Hollywood?
Yeah, since when has Hollywood and Kansas gone together, huh? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, I mean, that hasn't worked since The Wizard of Oz, and we'll leave it alone. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a mock draft for you guys today. And unlike last time where we did it live, most of you people I feel like are listeners rather than watchers. So we did it ahead of time. And we're going to go through the picks that we made and explain them and explain why we picked what we picked. I am significantly less prepared, mainly because I don't care about a 6th-round wide receiver this year. I really don't. My care is actually going to be an undrafted tackle, which we'll talk about later, but the situation is much different for some of us. Last year, LB's team, the Carolina Panthers, had the coveted number 1 overall pick and picked the 20th best player. So that's a little big oof for them.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it, but there's time. There's times to develop because Mac Jones looked really good his first year and then crapped himself the next 2, and it's entirely possible that Bryce Young does the Josh Allen thing where he sucks for 2 years, and all of a sudden when the team actually, I don't know, gets an offensive coordinator, good receivers around him, and an offensive line, he plays well. So maybe we'll see what happens. I know they've been investing boatloads of money into the offensive line over there, but we'll let you talk about that for a minute before we get started. As far as anything in New England goes, nobody really cares except for the New Englanders. We have a new head coach, we have a new offensive staff, and nobody knows the names of any of them. So other than Ben McAdoo, everybody knows him because he sells cars rather than coaches football teams. So that's what we got going on there. And everybody thinks New England's going to suck for the next 10 years. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Maybe.
You never know. It all starts here. It all starts here, depending on how much they listen to my mock draft. We'll start with LB on some of the Carolina Panther stuff real quick, and then we'll move to Hound on anything other than Rashee Rice that's relevant. I don't think there is, but we'll start with LB on his quick take thoughts on what's happened thus far in the offseason. You got a new coaching staff over there as well, but let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, so it's been kind of interesting. Had of course Brian Burns go for basically a bag of balls after whiffed on the trade that would have been great last year, so that sucked. He went to he just couldn't pay him the money, which I understand. From a business standpoint, just sucks doing it a year too late. Another one that left was Frankie Louvu. He went to the Commanders. So happy for him getting paid. I think we just couldn't match the salary we needed to pay him, so that sucked. Good news is they did sign Derek Brown after a career year so far, led the team and set a new single season record in tackles. They brought back Jadeveon Clowney to his home state at the edge, signed a linebacker from the Broncos, which was good, trying to replace the absence of Frankie Louvu, and got another edge rusher for DJ Wanham. So, of course, this year they don't have the first round pick. They pick at 33, so I anticipate them picking best receiver available at 33, and then probably best available player at 39. Just kind of depends on how the board shakes out. The 39th pick is kind of interesting and kind of really hard to project just and see how it shakes out. I could see them going linebacker. I could see them going corner, or if the center from West Virginia is still on the board, I could see them going center. I would, it'd be maybe an interesting move, but if they doubled up at wide receiver at 39, I think that'd be pretty bold move. But you're certainly showing your investment in Bryce Young and going all in on him, so that might be interesting. And even if Bryce is your guy, let's say your two guys at 33 and 39 hit, and they're both receivers, you're setting yourself up down the line for a quarterback to then come in and have success. So I wouldn't be opposed to that either, but we'll just see.
Heck yeah, I love to hear it. I don't love the idea of you guys taking the best receiver available right before New England picks, which happens to be pick 34. So we'll see what happens on that. New England might end up trading that pick, but we'll see. We'll see. I've fallen in love with a particular receiver, and I have a feeling it's going to be one that you like too. But we'll see what happens. Hound, let's hear about why Rashee Rice is not in trouble right now.
Oh, well, you see, he just had places to go.
Gotcha. Gotta go fast.
I'm pretty sure yes, gotta go fast. I'm pretty sure that's his defense,
Yeah.
Understandable. Have a good day. Anyways.
Jeez.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Who knows? The NFL's never consistent. So that could be anywhere from an indefinite suspension to a 4-game suspension, and everyone questions why it's only 4 games. So it'll be interesting to see what the league does. But as it relates to the Chiefs offseason before that, we were able to retain a lot of the players we had, which when you win the Super Bowl, that's pretty good. We did lose some players. We lost Willie Gay, one of our linebackers. He was pretty good. We lost our punter.
Not the punter. No.
But we signed Matt Arazia. I can't remember if that's how you pronounce his name. But he was the punt god from the Bills. And he had that whole legal problem back in the day that got resolved.
You're just a problem child of the NFL now, and you're winning Super Bowls. What's up with that?
Hey, he got it dismissed and everything.
Okay. So he's definitely innocent.
So, yes. So, anyways, he's making his comeback, so that'll be interesting to see. But we are also able to retain a few other players, some of our defensive linemen, some of our safeties, some of the players to keep a lot of the defense intact. We re-signed Chris Jones to a 5-year deal, longer than I would have, to be honest, but it's good to have him back. And then we lost Snead. So we traded him away. That's probably our biggest player that we've lost so far, or will lose at this point. So going into the draft, wide receiver is always going to be an issue. Offensive line will be an issue because we lost our left tackle, Donovan Smith. Now, Donovan Smith wasn't a great left tackle per se, but he was competent enough.
Right.
So whenever you lose a left tackle, that's always an important position to try to fill. But outside of that, this team looks very similar to how it did last season. So I'm excited for this draft because hopefully we can add some more new talent that can fit in these key spots very well and make this team perhaps even better than last year. We'll see.
I remember when that was the purpose of the draft for my team, when we were just good and we just needed to supplement a few holes for players we lost and then maybe turn a good group of players into a great one. And we're just trying to get good again. So New England's offseason, as far as players, we just re-signed everybody who was good from the 2021 free agent class, and then
you didn't re-sign everyone.
No, we didn't. We re-signed. We let go a few people, but we re-signed almost everybody that was good from the 2021. Not draft class, the free agent class. Your Kendrick Bournes, your Hunter Henrys, those sorts of players. We re-signed some key players from some drafts that people kind of slept on. Kyle Duggar got a big deal. Mike Onwenu, one of our tackles / guards, who's now going to be strictly a tackle for the time being, and he got himself a nice deal. And then as far as external free agents, nobody of note except for this linebacker called Taki, which I'm really excited to have to call his name, and Antonio Gibson from the Washington Commanders. So kind of a nice lightning to Ramondre Stevenson's Thunder. So that'll be nice. But other than that, kind of more about the coaching staff and the inner workings of the team rather than the players to this point. Although the term was going into it, free agency, that we were going to burn some cash, and I'm quoting, and there's a lot of cash that has not been lit ablaze yet. So we'll see what's going on. A quick little overview of the draft, objectively speaking. This is going to be more similar to the Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa drafts, where we have several significant quarterbacks involved in the first 5 picks for sure, and probably a few picks down from that as well. Very heavy, top heavy tackle class that lasts through about, I'd say, the middle of the 3rd round and then falls off a cliff after that. And then the wide receiver class, there's going to be some 6th-round picks that any other draft would probably go in the 4th or 3rd round. It is one of the deepest wide receiver classes of all time, I would argue. And there's going to be people that go in the first 10 picks that are going to be absolute studs. There's going to be people in the 30s and 50s, go through the 30 through 40 range that are going to be absolute studs. There's not a place in this draft where I think you are picking a bad wide receiver. Not that there aren't bad wide receivers in this class. It's just that I think there's significantly fewer of them. So if you are unsure, gentlemen, where to go with your next draft pick in the 6th or 7th round, pick a receiver. Usually, it's always worked in New England, so I don't know why it wouldn't work anywhere else. So we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll try to do this via the order of draft picks. So with that, we'll go ahead and start with the 3rd overall pick. The New England Patriots will select Drake May, quarterback from the University of North Carolina. So the big controversy right now is whether Jayden Daniels is going to go to, if Drake May is going to go to. I have a hard time putting Drake May with Cliff Kingsbury after he's spent all that time with Kyler Murray running around. I think he wants another guy that can run around, and Jayden Daniels is that guy. There's also speculation that J.J. McCarthy, the college champion Michigan Wolverine quarterback, and my thing with that particular player is that if he was a good player, he would have been the center of the offense. But who was the center of the offense for the Michigan Wolverines, it was Blake Corum, the running back. So now there's some good players around him too. There's good receivers, good tight end, that sort of thing. But he was never like given these a lot of these opportunities. He was kind of operated like a young quarterback in the NFL was, kind of protected himself, tried not to give him really tough throws. Not that he didn't make a tough throw or two. I just think this all this JJ McCarthy hype is probably the spawn of I'm blanking, Jim Harbaugh, and him trying to drive up his price so that he could say he developed a first round quarterback. So yeah. I think, I don't know if it's going to be as catastrophic as Will Levis, but I feel like JJ McCarthy is going to be the Will Levis of this year, and he's not going to go as high as what a lot of people say. I don't know if he's going to be home after being there the first night and then crying his eyes out after the Tennessee Titans inevitably pick him, but it is entirely possible Tennessee Titans take JJ McCarthy. I'm not gonna lie, that's just kind of where they're at. They need everything, but that's where I'm at on that pick. I'll leave that alone for now, and I believe the next pick available will be, believe it or not, it's all three of ours in a row, starting with Hound with the 32nd pick of the NFL draft. The Kansas City Chiefs select who?
So when I did the mock draft, I got a very nice surprise because a player that normally would have been picked perhaps like 6 or 7 spots earlier dropped. And if this happens during the actual NFL draft, the Chiefs are definitely picking this player. Mm-hmm. And that's J.C. Latham, offensive tackle from Alabama. He has the size, he's got the he has the explosiveness. He does very well with pass blocking. Mm-hmm. All rookies have some stuff that they have to deal with. Sure, he can sometimes get behind when blocking, but J.C. Latham, especially as the 32nd pick, would be a great pickup.
Absolutely.
And as I mentioned before, our tackle position is something that we need to try to fill in, and he'd be a great addition. So we won't go wide receiver first round. We will go offensive tackle.
Excellent. And I think that's a great pickup for you guys if he were to fall that. Most of the mocks have him go in the late teens, early 20s, somewhere in there. And he is a 1-for-1 for you guys in that he played right tackle in college, and he's probably going to play right tackle in the NFL. And you all happen to need a right tackle. So that's a great pick for you guys. Congratulations. Next, we got LB with the 33rd overall pick. Now I've got to pull this up differently because I can't see past the first round. But LB, who did you take to break my heart? Let me hear it.
So in this mock draft that I was doing, it had Ladd McConkey available at 33. And so I went ahead and drafted Ladd McConkey at 33. I'll be surprised if he's there. I really will be. But I'd love to see him there. I think if he's there, they take him, no doubt. But, they're the Carolina Panthers. They've been known to break my heart. They'll do it again, so we'll see.
Well, you did break my heart. Ladd McConkey is my guy. I freaking love this player. He is like giving me. Maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit, but he's given me. I don't know, Cooper Kupp vibes. I don't know. I mean, he kind of is built like him a little bit. Put a little meat on his bones, and he looks a lot like that player. So that's a great pickup for you guys, and I will have to cross him off because now he's no longer available. But so what's interesting is I actually think he will be available at 33 or 34, depending on what goes on. But great player to put alongside the talent you got there, especially if you're going to let him kind of learn under Adam Thielen. I think that's a great pick for you guys. Couple other players. New England picks 34, and a couple other players available that could be in the works there. Xavier Worthy might fall that far. That's the guy that broke the speed record on the 40. We already have a speed guy in Tyquan Thornton. Not that he's very good right now, but it's entirely possible that we could try to recreate the magic that we had with Brandon Cooks. I'm not going to go that direction because I feel like if Ladd McConkey is off the board, then also A.D. Mitchell and a few of the other receivers I really like are not going to be there. So I'm going to actually go tackle, and I'm going with Kingsley Suamatua, who's from BYU, giant, 6'7". I don't remember if it's 340 or 350. He's an absolute tank. So almost a one-for-one replacement for what's his face? Trent Brown, maybe a little smaller, but his attitude and his head won't be so big. So that'll take off a few pounds, and hopefully he can add it to the junk in the trunk and start moving players. So we take Kingsley Suamatua. I don't know if we have to trade down to do it, but just for the sake of ease, we take him at 34 to supplement our tackle situation, which is abysmal outside of our starting right tackle, which is Mike Onwenu. So from there, it looks like the Carolina Panthers got the 39th pick. Where are they going with the 39th pick, my friend?
I think at pick 39, they stay within the state, and they draft the linebacker from NC State, Peyton Wilson. The guy put up crazy numbers at the combine. Better numbers than Luke Kuechly on some of them. That was kind of some of the comparisons. I know Luke Kuechly's high on the guy. I've heard him speak about this linebacker from NC State in a couple different interviews and given his thoughts. So if Luke Kuechly's bought in, I'm sure his Pratt bought in too. That guy's a linebacker in the history of the franchise. So if he's there at 39, I think he fits the need, can kind of move him around a little bit, play inside, play outside, can cover pretty well. Good length, good speed. I think he can fill a lot of needs. Not that our defense is horrible by any means. Obviously, we're in the top 10 last year with Jero Evero's defense, but with the loss of Frankie Louvu and Brian Burns and a couple back-end guys, I think he'll try to revamp and reload with Peyton Wilson.
Heck yeah, I love to see it. Love to see it. The other thing about this class, there's a pretty decent class for slot corners. So if you are looking for a slot corner, this would be a good draft for that. I believe the next pick is number 64 with the Kansas City Chiefs. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Excellent. So where do the Chiefs go and break the hearts of the Patriots and Panthers who pick right after them again?
I doubt that, because I'm going to do a little bit of, not unconventional, but it'll be surprising, I think, to both of you.
Kicker.
Yeah, so LB decided to pick a home state kid. Well, the Chiefs are going to pick a home state kid in the second round as well. Ben Sinnott from K-State.
Oh, okay.
Tight end, although he's more of a fullback, really.
Mm-hmm.
He played a lot more fullback in college than they really admit. But he's kind of a player who kind of gets moved around a lot. People are going to be like, why don't you pick a wide receiver? I think what the Chiefs are going to really be looking at this draft is not just wide receivers, but offensive weapons that Andy Reid can play around with. And
pause.
He's home state. Yeah. Yeah. The benefit they went to K-State. He's a hard worker. He was like a 0-star talent going into college and ended up being one of the top tight end / fullback prospects, if however you want to categorize them as. And there's a lot of different ways the Chiefs could use him. They have Hollywood Brown for the speed and the finesse, but having someone who's pretty physical, who's willing to take a punch when catching the football or running with the football would be very beneficial. And putting him alongside Isaiah Pacheco could be a very dangerous combo.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Anyways, unconventional pick, but I'd like to see it. I mean, I did say that I wanted the Chiefs to pick a tight end last year with Dalton Kincaid. That didn't happen. The Bills broke my heart, but so now he's dead to me. But This year they make up for it.
That's excellent. Yeah, but Ben Sinnott has got a little bit of a following in the New England communities too. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, most of the time he goes. Most of the time we're talking about him like late third round or something like that. So, but I really like getting the player that number one is hometown. But if you know what, I feel like the Chiefs are in a position where if they want to overdraft somebody a little bit just because they feel like it works for their team and they want to guarantee that they get the player, there's nothing wrong with basically 64s might as well be the third round. So not a huge deal. With the very next pick, go ahead.
Yeah. No, all I was going to say is kind of like similar to some of these picks is that the teams like, oh, maybe move back 5 spaces and do stuff like that. Sure. That's a possibility because he, might be available still by then. But with the Chiefs with this draft, the big issue they have, especially early on in this draft, is they have large gaps between their picks. So you just kind of have to bite the bullet on who you want because usually by the time it circles back to you, they probably won't be there.
I hear that. Interesting. All right, Ben Sinnott to the Kansas City Chiefs or Sano. I'm not 100%. I think or Senate maybe. I don't know. 65 Carolina Panthers, who have bolstered both sides of the ball up to this point. Where are they going next, sir?
I think Panthers have more depth on edge rusher Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan. 6'3", 267. Big lanky guy. I think he's fast enough. We're going to 4.7.
Wow.
40 at that size is pretty good, I think, from the edge. Again, I think this is just going to add depth and try to replace the production that was lost from Brian Burns and try to get those numbers back by committee through both DJ Wanham and, of course, Jadeveon Clowney, and then adding a rookie to learn under those guys, I think would be beneficial and just add more depth. You got to have depth at the D-line if you want to continuously pressure the quarterback. I think that's just a tried and true method at this point in the NFL. If you have a stable of guys, keep fresh legs in the game, I think that serves your defensive line pretty well. So I think they add some depth to the D-line with that pick.
Excellent. I like it. I like it mainly because I don't have to worry about picking my receiver here or it getting yoinked from me like it was the last time. So with the 68th pick, 3 picks later, the New England Patriots in the top of the third round select Xavier Legette from South Carolina. My dude is 6'3" and runs like a gazelle. He's probably I've heard him kind of compared to, as far as his usage goes, kind of like a Deebo Samuel a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be Deebo Samuel. Only Deebo's Deebo. But I feel like he's a big body receiver. We have a bunch of guys that are like that 6 foot, 6'1" or lower that are mostly slot guys right now. The only really true outside guy we have is Tyquan Thornton, and he's 6'3", and he might as well weigh 3 pounds. Like, he's so skinny. Now, he's working out, at least according to his Instagram he is, but it's just one of those things where he's not really like a Devontae Parker or a DK Metcalf or any of these kind of like true X receivers, you know. This is Xavier Legette, literally has X in his name, so we're going to go ahead and put him outside and let Demario Douglas, KJ Osborne, and Kendrick Bourne work on the inside there. KJ Osborne, by the way, was the one receiver we did pick up in free agency, and I think is going to be the sneaky steal of free agency, but we'll leave that alone for now. But let's see who we have next. I believe it's 95 with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
LD, do you have a pick before then?
No, I don't. We have 101.
Gotcha. Okay, so 95 to the Kansas City Chiefs, end of the third round. What do we got?
End of the third round, I was really tempted to pick one wide receiver just for the fun of it. I'm going to pick another wide receiver that I think would actually be a little bit better of a fit. Jermaine Burton. So he's not the fastest guy in the league. He's got decent speed, though. He's not, slow or anything, but he's twitchy. He's a little bit of a twitchy wide receiver. He's pretty good with his explosions, and he's pretty good with working with some coverages. Like he's able to find some blind spots within DBs and settle in, which is very important if you're playing with the Chiefs because Mahomes likes to hold on to the football for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll fit in pretty well. He's 6 foot, 196. He's pretty average, physical traits go. He's not much of a blocker, but neither was Travis Kelce, and he's worked on that and he's gotten better. So, he doesn't need to be a great blocker to start with, especially if we draft bench and not. So
yeah, that's true.
Anyways.
Excellent. All right.
Jeremy Burton.
There you go.
Or Jermaine Burton. Sorry.
Yeah. And he's from Alabama, right? That's the Alabama guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Catching passes from Milrow. That's his name? The guy that can dot you up from 60 yards away but can't hit the 5 yard out, like that's the guy. So round 4, top of the very first pick of round 4, the Carolina Panthers would pick 101. Select
Cade Stover, tight end, Ohio State.
Oh, there he goes.
They try to solidify this. Yeah, I think they try to solidify this position a little bit. Kind of been unsuccessful the last couple of years, especially since Greg Olsen left. He's a big guy, 6'4", 250, ran a 4.6 at the combine. Was the finalist for the John Mackey Award. That's the nation's top tight end award.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the guy can play. I think you get some good value there, and you just add another big receiver type target for Bryce, along with Ladd McConkey and the weapons we currently have on the roster.
Excellent. Do you still have, is it Hayden Hurst? Do you still have him on the squad, or?
They let him go. They did not pick him.
Gotcha.
His option up.
Yeah, I like Cade Stover for that. Cade Stover, I believe, has some experience with the RPO offense, so that'll work good for Bryce Young, and I think that'll work good for the Panthers. I think that's a great pick. Top of the 4th round is right where you ought to go. So I am pleased to hear that pick. With the 103rd pick, 2 picks later, the New England Patriots, I have a decision to make here because all of New England wants to do is draft offense because they think the defense is completely fine and it's not going to have any problems. We don't really have a free safety right now, so I'd love to go Cam Kinchins. I'm not going to go that direction because the mock that I did actually had him going before 103. So to respect the board on that, I'm going to take Dwayne Carter from Duke, defensive interior. Kind of a all-around guy on the inside. We lost Lawrence Guy to, I don't remember if he re-signed or if he retired. I want to say he retired. But he's kind of been a mainstay ever since Vince Wilfork left. Now, Christian Barmore's definitely come into his own, but he's kind of more of a he's more of the pass rusher guy with the run blocking ability. This guy is the run blocker with pass rushing ability. So I think it's a nice compliment on the inside. I think the defense after DeMarcus Covington, who was our defensive line coach, is now our defensive coordinator. I think he's going to want to infuse some youth into that defensive line to pair up with Uche, Anthony Jennings, and Matthew Judon coming off injury. So I think that's just add some meat to the lineup there. I think that's going to be where they go from there. And I have 131 to the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't see.
Yep.
LB, do you have a pick before then? I don't see one.
No, we've got 141.
Gotcha. Okay. And 142. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs, bottom of the 4th, 131. Where are they going with this?
We're going to pick a safety.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do Kitten Oladipo. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's the safety from Oregon State.
Oh my gosh. Now I have to pick somebody different. Rick.
Oh no. I like him. He was the defensive, he's pretty good on that defense. He's a big guy. He's smart. He would work very well in the Chiefs defense, who likes to try to have to disguise their coverages and perhaps have multi-safety looks, but more importantly, we lost Mike Edwards, a safety we had last year, who was actually did pretty well for us. And safety has always been a position recently that we've been not super strong on. Last year, it wasn't as big of an issue because we had some really very great corners. But this year, these safeties might have to start actually stepping up. So I think the Chiefs, it'd be smart for the Chiefs to pick a safety, and I think he would be a great fit for the team.
Excellent. I say that because I was going to take him at 180, so he was available in 180 in one of my other drafts. So that's a good pick there. I like that. From there, I do believe that means that I actually have a pick before then. And with that pick, I've got pick 137. I'm going to pick Bucky Irving, running back from Oregon. Kind of a not the fastest guy, but a bruiser. So somebody to be a little bit more, somebody to spell Ramondre. Ramondre, I think, did some good things later in the season once Zeke kind of like helped offset some of his snaps. And I think that will also be insurance if we decide to move on from Ramondre Stevenson, because according to most analysts in the New England area, paying running backs is bad business. So we'll see what happens with that. Bucky Irving to the New England Patriots. Everybody, we got Taki, Bucky Irving. We just some absolute stud names going on here. With the next two picks at 141 and 142, the Carolina Panthers are on the board. What are they doing here, friend?
At 141, I think they take Tommy Eichenberg, linebacker from Ohio State. Again, just trying to shore up the defense. That was a clear strong point of our team last year. Definitely going defensive heavy. I think part of that is because our GM was a former linebacker, so I anticipate them drafting defensive side of the ball a little bit more favorable than the offense, despite offense struggling. I think the moves they made in free agency, bringing the two guards in as well as the receiver, Deontay Johnson kind of speaks to that a little bit. And I think Tommy Eichenberg is just a good fit at 141. Just add some more depth. You're not really risking much with that pick.
Excellent. And what about 142?
I think that adds the D line again, going to try to fill up that rotation. So a couple of guys that have been released in this offseason. So with that being said, they go with Makai Wingo, D line out of LSU, big body. Just another guy that they can hopefully stop the run with, rush past a little bit here and there. But again, just to kind of add to the rotation and depth. Again, at 142, you're not really risking much. It's kind of a safe pick with the D line at that point in the draft.
Excellent. We love to see it. Yeah, this all you guys' picks are very well thought out. I'm surprised. I'm impressed. So I'm the bot here for sure, because I gotta figure out who I'm picking at 180. But at 159, the Kansas City Chiefs are on the board still in the fifth round. Where are you guys going there?
We are going to go defensive tackle, Tyler Davis from Clemson. So he's just a physical beast. He's very strong. He bench pressed 405 pounds. He did 30 reps of 225, and he squatted 680 pounds.
Wow.
So this guy just has the physical traits. And once you get to these later rounds, all of these players are going to have weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either go for players that have good physical traits that you hope you can teach to be better, or you hope you can find players who have the technical skill there, and they can overcome their physical weaknesses. But Tyler Davis, being a defensive tackle, he has the physical qualities. He just perhaps needs a little bit of fine tuning. And who does he get to play with? Chris Jones.
True.
He can play with Chris Jones. We have some very experienced people on our line. He can learn develop. He's not going to be a day one guy, but second year, third year, perhaps he could actually be something special. So
I
that's
like
who the
it.
Chiefs pick.
I'm always down to, especially in the later rounds, to pair high upside players with other players that are similar or play the same position that are already well established pros. I think that's a really good way to develop and train the next generation at that position. And what you're doing with that pick as well is even if he doesn't outlast Chris Jones, if he does any damage at all, he's going to be doing it along with. And maybe Chris Jones can have a breather every once in a while, but I'm not sure how much he wants to be off the field, considering he throws a temper tantrum just like everybody else on your team when he's not on the field. So I'm just full of shades. I need to put the pixelated gangster glasses on me right now. It's just freaking, yeah. I'm just a meme right now. With pick 180, I was able to find somebody. Wait. Did I miss somebody?
Wait.
Do you have a pick? Oh,
Chiefs. I won 173.
Oh gosh! All right, who do you pick?
So, Chiefs are going to take the old strategy you mentioned at the beginning, before we started picking, of where, well, if you're in the late rounds, why not just pick a wide receiver? You can't go wrong there. So that's what I'm going to do.
I'm
going to pick Jalen Coker. Maybe that's how you say it, from Holy Cross.
Interesting.
Okay. So, you know why I think the Chiefs would pick this guy? He's 6'1". He ran a 4.57. Not super impressive.
Yeah,
but you know
slow.
what? Right? Not super fast. You know what? All the experts or the scouts say about him.
What's that?
He's coordinated with soft, reliable hands. His second strength is that he has the strong hands any NFL wide receiver coach and quarterback would covet.
Oh my gosh.
Scouts love this guy's hands. And if there's one thing that people know about Chiefs wide receivers is they have a habit of dropping the football. And he's the exact opposite.
Oh,
so
man.
Either he's going to be a star, or maybe he can teach our other wide receivers how to actually catch the football. Who knows? But adding into that wide receiver depth, especially since we don't know what's going to happen with Rossi Rice, you can't really go wrong. He has some qualities that are fine. He's not the most athletic guy, but again, if you can scheme him open, he at least won't drop the football. So
I hear that. That's hilarious that you clowned on your own team as far as the catches go. The idea of drafting a wide receiver coach with your fifth round pick is also kind of wild too. So we love to see it. Am I allowed to draft now? Can I?
Maybe.
I think
yes, you can.
Okay, cool. I was really worried you were going to snipe me again. I didn't pick a receiver, so I was good to go. I'm taking Dwight McLaughlin from Arkansas, cornerback, 188 pounds, 6'2", a bigger guy. So New England has been notorious for drafting this sort of player. Typically in the earlier rounds, though, like your second round, early third, like that sort of thing. So they waited a little bit so that nobody got upset with them. And what this will do, if it works out, is give them another body to put on the outside so that Jonathan Jones, who's one of our corners, has been playing outside, but I think is best suited for the inside. And with losing one of our slot guys to free agency, who everybody that's cool and everybody love, not those like players that nobody knows about, but like everybody loves, like that fan base loves, like Marcus Smart, right? Marcus Smart with the Celtics, like nobody really, yeah, exactly. Nobody knows who that is except for the Celtics fans. And then now that he's in Memphis, everybody loves him in Memphis. So we had a guy who was a cornerback that kind of was the backup cornerback that / safety that filled a lot of roles when we had injuries. All those players are going to the Houston Texans. So, and then on top of that, Houston Texans are, trading for Stephon Diggs, signing Danielle Hunter, doing all these things to look, they're going to be a juggernaut next year as far as the media goes. I don't know if they'll actually gel, but we'll see. It's going to be a fun team. But All that to say, the New England Patriots, with their 6th-round pick, take Dwight McGlothern from Arkansas. That's how interesting that pick was, that we got to talk about the Houston Texans. That's how irrelevant that pick was. Let's see here. Does anybody have a pick before 193?
Nope.
No. Okay, so New England has another pick, and I've got to look up who this guy is. I have to look up my own pick. What a bot I am. Let's pull up my draft here. Caden Wallace is an offensive tackle from Penn State. Another giant of a man. Another 6'5", 330, somewhere in there. This is just backup, just to throw more spaghetti on the wall, at offensive tackle. Doubling up is the way to go, because the more noodles you have in the pot, the more likely one will stick to the wall. So that's where we're at on that. Caden Wallace from Penn State. Penn State has got some history with good offensive tackles, and that's where I don't mind taking another player from, even though I would prefer his teammate Joe Alt. So we'll see, but I'd rather have the quarterback at the top, but we'll leave that alone. So with 193, we take Caden Wallace, offensive tackle from Penn State. The next pick looks like 221 to the Kansas City Chiefs. From Carolina through Tennessee is what NFL.com says. So by way of Tennessee and resident now of Carolina, the Kansas City Chiefs select.
At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to draft an offensive tackle, Frank Crum. Okay. You know why we're picking Frank Crum? Because he's 6'8".
Nice.
That's basically the only reason. Again, one of those things is like sometimes you just take freaks of nature and see if you can actually teach them how to walk, or in this case, block. Yeah. So, in this pick, we've already drafted an offensive tackle, so that should be able to slot in. This is going to be a backup from the get-go, and perhaps will always be a backup, or maybe not even on the team. But you see, is he teachable? Can you use his physical traits and perhaps be able to teach them how to be a decent blocker? And that's basically the logic with some of these last picks. And plus, Frank Crum, I mean,
what a name.
He just sounds like a big boy.
Yeah, he does. It doesn't sound like he leaves much on the plate, for sure. That's definitely sounds like a tank if I've ever heard one. And that's a name I'm familiar with too. So, and if I'm going to be completely honest, I've only known about one of any of the defensive players that you guys have taken. That's how little I care about the defensive players in this draft. Okay, I really don't care. The defense is fine in New England. The offense needs some substantial work. The Botox didn't work the first time. Let me tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
However, I don't see another pick for either of you before 231. So the New England Patriots at pick 231 select Miles Cole, edge from Texas Tech. I have no clue who he is, to be completely honest with you. Just an edge player to maybe develop. Maybe he's got some traits of some kind that makes sense. I don't know. Just if he sucks, cut him, put him on special teams. Like that's what we do in New England. If you're not good, we'll make you good on special teams. If you're not good on special teams, we'll put you as our starting left tackle. So it just doesn't matter at this point. 240 is the Carolina Panthers, and I don't have any other picks. Hound, do you have any? Okay. Nope. So this should be the last pick of our mock draft here. LB, is it 240 is your last pick?
That's it. Can I get a drum roll, please?
Absolutely. Yes. That's probably sounded awful, but do we have? That's as close as you're going to get. What do you have?
Okay, that's close enough. Paul, do you have any things you want to add right quick with your great soundboard you're showing?
I don't know.
It's got to be a timing thing. You can't force these sorts of things.
There you go.
All right, here we go. Last pick with 240. The Panthers are taking Cody Schrader, running back from Missouri.
Heck yeah.
He's kind of an athletic guy. I watched him play a couple games this past year when Missouri was actually decent. Again, pick 240. Who really gives a rip?
Yeah.
Add to the offensive weapon. If he turns out to be something, great. If not, who cares? Pick 240. He's probably going to be bust anyways.
Heck yeah. I love it.
That's the fact.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
we have completed the NFL draft for our respective teams. Let's go. All right, we'll start with Hound. Can you just you don't have to go into the breakdowns, just repeat the players that you took and their positions, please.
Yes. So at pick 32, I picked J.C. Latham, offensive tackle. It'll be a miracle if he drops down that low, but if he does, we're definitely going to pick him, hopefully. And then in the second round, we'd pick Ben Sinnott from K-State, tight end. Hopefully be useful as a weapon that we can move around, physical guy. Third round, we draft Jermaine Burton, wide receiver from Alabama. He's got some twitchiness, some skills to get open. That would be very beneficial to us. Next round, we pick safety Kitten Oladapo. I don't know. I think
it's
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I think it's Oladapo.
Oladapo.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Cooler.
Yeah.
Oladapo.
Yeah.
Safety, add into that safety room that needs some talented players. So we'll see how he works out. And then we'd pick next at pick 159, Tyler Davis, the giant defensive tackle from Clemson. He'd be a good fit and be able to work behind Chris Jones. Then we'd pick at 173, Jalen Coker from Holy Cross, wide receiver. He has a fun name. And also, he has amazing, wonderful hands. Some people say he has the best hands. I even walked in here and said, wow, he has great hands. And then with our last pick, the Chiefs just throw a Hail Mary to the giant Frank Crum, offensive tackle from Wyoming.
Love to see
and
it.
see if we can tame the beast.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Congratulations to drafting us. I don't know how many players it was, but I'm going to guess 8.
Seven.
So, all right.
Frank
Congratulations.
Crum kind of counts as 2, but
Fair enough. Regardless, congratulations on drafting 7 Hall of Famers, because by the time they're retired, everybody will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
At least that's the way old primetime feels. But we won't. That's a discussion for another time. LB, let's hear the Carolina Panthers draft. Let me hear their names and positions, please.
At pick 33, they take Ladd McConkey, wide receiver from Georgia. At pick 39, Peyton Wilson, linebacker, NC State. Pick 65, Marshawn Nealand, edge from Western Michigan. 101, Cade Stover, tight end, Ohio State. 141, Tommy Eichenberg, linebacker, Ohio State. 142, Mekhi Wingo, D-line, LSU. And 240 to round the whole thing off with the 7th pick of the draft for the Carolina Panthers, Cody Schrader, running back from Missouri.
Believe it or not, that Cody Schrader pick is probably my favorite one other than Ladd McConkey. So that's I like that. I like that. With the New England Patriots take their quarterback of the future, Drake May, UNC. And then they go in the second round, Kingsley Su'a-Matua from BYU, offensive tackle. They go Xavier Legette with pick 68, wide receiver from South Carolina. They go with big defensive interior guy, Dwayne Carter from Duke. Then they get the round mound of running over you and being on the most underperforming team in the college playoff, Bucky Irving from Oregon, running back. Then I was going to take Kitten Oladipo with my 180th pick, but he got sniped because somebody overdrafted him. And then
you just sound bitter about that.
Whatever. Dwight McLaughlin from Arkansas, 6'2" cornerback. And then with 193, we take Caden Wallace, offensive tackle from Penn State. Not the Penn State tackle we want, but that's okay. We'll take him at 193. And then at 231, we take Miles Cole, no-name Texas Tech edge guy that happens just to be a decent player according to the mock draft program I used for this. So that's the mock drafts. On the spot, what is going to be your bold prediction for the draft? We'll start with LB. LB, what do you think is going to be the crazy thing that happens in the NFL draft this year? Could be anything. Doesn't have to be even like a player goes a certain place or something like that.
Caleb Williams doesn't go number 1 overall.
Wow. JJ McCarthy, number
prediction.
1, anybody? JJ McCarthy.
No way.
I had a mock today that had JJ McCarthy and then Drake May go. So I at 3 could have taken Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels.
Well, you want to hear my mock draft? My mock draft had Joe Alt, offensive tackle from Notre Dame, going first overall.
Oh, he's from Notre Dame. I've been saying he's been Penn State. What a bot I am.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, according to the mock draft, they could be wrong. Who knows?
No, I think he's from Notre Dame. So, bold prediction. Now, to be fair, your bold prediction last year was that a certain quarterback wasn't going to go number 1. And even though you were incorrect about the prediction as far as where he actually went, you were correct in that you should have picked CJ Stroud, as you said. So I'm not totally unconvinced of your bold prediction. So I get that.
Hey, you said bold, so I had to go as bold as I could think.
Heck yeah. All right. Hound, what's your bold prediction for the NFL draft this year?
So my bold prediction last year went super well. I don't know if everyone remembers.
Oh, I remember.
Really well. And this year, I think it's going to be the same, because this year I predict Will Levis won't get drafted in the first round again. No.
Wow.
If it's not broke, why fix it? That's my.
Valid point.
Hey, you know what? I'll keep it unless you got something different. I'll keep that as your prediction.
Yeah.
Will Levis will not go in the
like.
Well, go ahead.
So here's my bold prediction. Okay. This might not sound like a bold prediction at first until you realize how these mock drafts and predictions have been going. There's a very common theme, right? This is a wide receiver draft. They're so good wide receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
My bold prediction is that, and again, most years this wouldn't be really a bold prediction at all, but only 4 receivers or less will be drafted in the first round.
Wow, that is.
If you look at most mock drafts, they have around 6 or 7.
Wow.
So I'm predicting 4 or less in the first round. I think these GMs are going to be like, they're so good, we can wait.
I love it.
There's these other positions that there's only a couple good players. Let's get those guys first and worry about wide receiver in the second or third round. So that's my theory, but that's just a theory. So anyways,
I love it.
Yeah.
And this is a wild one. I'm pulling deep. I said I wasn't paying attention to any 6-round wide receivers, but I was paying attention to an undrafted offensive tackle. All right, get ready for this name. Xavier Gadlin. Xavier Gadlin, or Zave Gadlin, I think is how it's pronounced. Liberty Flames offensive tackle, ranked 314 on the ESPN rankings. I have him going to be the best value non-pick in this year's draft, in that he will be the best undrafted free agent signed this coming year. So that's my
Interesting.
bold prediction. That says just in case somebody says, well, that's not really a draft bold prediction. You're predicting somebody who probably won't be on a roster will just happen to be on a roster. Wow, that's so crazy. That's not really about the draft. If that's your thing, then I think there's going to be a power outage, and there will be a shift in the tides, and all of a sudden the Ravens will somehow pull out the best draft of all time, just like they did in the Super Bowl that they should have lost, but ended up winning because the story writers had their way. So Caleb will fall, wide receivers will fall, and then everybody else will, because everybody's going to yell, hit the ground. So that's all we got for you folks. Thanks so much for enjoying this year with us. It has been an absolute blast.
Thank you for listening to the No Punt Intended Sportscast. Be sure to check out the Thinking Hound and to like, share, and subscribe.